Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all things primers. I've gathered all of the primers in my collection, narrowed it down to my absolute favorites, and broken it out by skin type. For those of you that are new here, I used to have really oily skin, and then with my pregnancy, I had really dry skin. And then since then, it's been kind of more combination. I also used to do wedding makeup where there were mothers of the bride, mothers of the groom, and I feel like I've got a good handle on mature skin as well. So I'm gonna be telling you the best of the best affordable primers for your skin type. So if you are interested in finding out, then just keep on watching. All right, so let's go ahead and start with oily skin. I have two primers here. I tried to narrow it down to one per skin type, but I just couldn't for some of these. So for oily skin, I have two different primers. The first is a new find, thanks to you guys from that video where I asked you guys, was the #1 favorite product you've ever purchased that you've been influenced to buy? And a lot of you said this primer, and I went and bought it for that video, and I've been loving it ever since. And it is the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot primer. So this retails for $10. I picked it up at Target. It claims to be an oil absorbing primer that controls shine throughout the day with pore shrink technology that diminishes the appearance of pores. It hides imperfections, evens out the skin tone, and makes makeup last longer. I don't know about the pore shrink technology, like if it's actually shrinking pores, but it definitely makes them look less pronounced. I also noticed quite a bit of extra time before my oils started coming through in my T-zone area, which is where I tend to get oily. And I just want to preface this by saying I get asked all the time, like, what is a primer that I can use for my oily skin where I won't get shiny? And to be totally honest, I don't think that's possible. If you have extremely oily skin, you just have extremely oily skin. I think that's something that you should address more with skincare than with makeup. But with makeup, there are products that will help keep the oil at bay for longer, but there's not going to be any combination of products that will not make you shiny at all if you are super shiny, if that makes sense. I just want to make sure that I'm not saying this is like this miracle product. If you have super oily skin, you won't get oily at all throughout the day. That's not the case, and that's not the case with any primer, but this one really helps. It has a little squeeze tube, nice and clean application, and it's got a thicker consistency. But as you blend it out, it almost feels moisturizing. The first time I used it, I was like, wait, is this a moisturizing primer or is this a mattifying primer? Because it goes on really moisturizing feeling, but then it dries down very matte. Makes your skin look super smooth, your pores look less pronounced, and it does help keep oils at bay. So this is definitely one I'd recommend for oily skin, as well as this one. This is another find from you guys where I asked you your #1 hidden drugstore gems, and a lot of you guys said this one. This is Maybelline's Master Prime Face Studio, and this is the Blur and Smooth. This Master Prime comes with a bunch of different types of primers, but this specifically is the one that I recommend for oily skin. This retails for $10, so same price as the Soap & Glory one. It claims to prime the skin, blur, and even out the skin tone while covering imperfections and minimizing the appearance of pores, prolongs makeup wear, and lightweight, non-oily formula. So kind of similar to the Soap & Glory one, this isn't just like a clear silicone-y formula. It comes out like it's going to be, again, more like a moisturizer, but as you blend it out, it starts to get tacky and then it dries down to a matte finish, and it just leaves the skin feeling super smooth and soft. I would say if you're not sure which one to go with, this one I think makes the skin look slightly smoother, and this one I think keeps oil at bay for a little bit longer. So depending on which is most important to you would be which one I would go with, but both of them do an amazing job for oily skin. All right, next up for dry skin, again, I have two primers. I think I might have two for all of these. Nope, there's one category where I only have one. So for dry skin, the first is going to be the Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer. This is great for those of you that have drier skin and you never feel like your foundation looks quite as radiant as you want it to look. You never feel like you've got that glowiness even when you're using a glowy foundation. So this is a dupe for the Becca Spotlight filter. And I know Becca is going out of business, so definitely good to have dupes for their products. But I did hear that Smashbox is picking up a bunch of their products, but that's neither here nor there. I just want to show you guys what this does to the skin. Do you see how illuminating that is? It just gives your skin a healthy glow. Even if you wear no foundation, this is just a beautiful product if you want that glow to your skin. But when you layer a foundation on top of it, it just makes any foundation look glowy and youthful and radiant, which I know is really hard to achieve with drier skin. So you can look at this hand versus this hand. This one looks dry and flat, whereas this one looks radiant and youthful. This retails for $15 and it claims that it blurs, corrects, and protects. It's enriched with antioxidants and age-defying actives to protect the skin against environmental aggressors, optical blurring agents, and 5 unique filtering pearls to improve the appearance of skin tone, making the complexion radiant and bright. So it's got vitamins A and E. It's also hypoallergenic and fragrance-free. So a great all-around primer, especially for those of you with drier skin. All right, next up for dry skin is a primer by Milani that does not get nearly enough love. It is the Milani Rose Primer Prep and Hydrate. This has hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and vitamin B5. It's infused with all-natural rose oil and rose stem cells, and it claims to smooth the look of uneven skin tone, fine lines, and pores. This, I would say, would be good both for mature skin and for dry skin, but definitely for dry skin. This comes out like a lotion, and it does have a fragrance to it. It's never irritated my skin, and it's not a super strong fragrance. It has like a rose scent. It smells really good, and it's not too heavy. And it goes on like a super luxurious moisturizer, and it just makes your skin look and feel so nourished. It really helps in terms of makeup longevity, and it's also doing good things for your skin. So especially if you have dry skin, having hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, all of these things on your skin as a part of your makeup routine definitely really help, especially if you're then going in with a really hydrating foundation or tinted moisturizer. So these two are definite wins for dry skin. This one is going to be more on the illuminating side, whereas this one's going to be more on the hydrating side. So you could even pair these together if you want to be extra radiant. All right, next up is mature skin, and this is a primer that everyone talks about being a dupe for the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer, and it's the NYX Angel Veil Primer, conveniently named very similarly. This is a velvety, oil-free primer that feels light as a cloud, leaving your skin looking and feeling divine. This retails for $16, I believe. NYX is definitely up there in terms of price point. This primer is definitely worth the price. It's pretty similar to the Milani Rose Primer, except I would say it's a little bit thicker in consistency. So it's gonna fill in those fine lines a little bit better than the Milani one because it is a little bit thicker. It's almost gonna act as like spackle and fill in those lines that you don't want your makeup sinking into, but also leaving your skin with a super silky texture that's gonna make any foundation go on a lot smoother. It leaves your skin looking nice and airbrushed. It makes your makeup go on smoother. I would say if you have really dry, mature skin, this may not be your favorite. I'd go with the Milani one, but other than that, I think anyone with mature skin would really, really love this primer. All right, and then last but not least, I have 3 primers that I just want to shout out that I think are good for all skin types, or for those of you that just have normal skin that want a good primer and don't have any of those specific skin concerns. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these 3. The first is the new Wet n Wild Impossible Primer Base. This is a mattifying, hydrating, blurring primer, but it's also silicone free. So if you don't like silicone, this is an amazing one to go with. It says it's mattifying, but this would work for any skin type. It does what it claims to do. It smooths everything out, it blurs everything, and it leaves a really nice base for makeup. So this one leans a little bit on the matte side, but again, good for all skin types, whereas this one, the NYX Marshmallow Primer, leans a little bit more on the moisturizing radiant side, but works for all skin types. This works for my oily skin, works for my dry skin, same with this one. It just depends on the type of finish that you want. So this next one retails, the full size one retails for $17, and I've talked about this one many times. It deserves all the hype that it gets. It's absolutely incredible. It makes your makeup last longer, it makes it go on smoother, it does everything you want a primer to do. Then last but not least is the Rumored Milk Makeup Dupe. This is the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer. I love this one. If you are looking for a gripping makeup primer, one that doesn't dry down after it gets tacky, this is the one to go with. It stays tacky, so it really grips onto your foundation and is one of the best primers I've ever tried for makeup longevity. But again, not particularly mattifying, not particularly hydrating. It could work on a lot of different skin tones, especially normal skin. So just wanted to give those 3 a shout out if you don't kind of fit into any of those other categories. And then if you are a combination, I would say mix primers. Don't feel like you need to put one primer all over your face. If you get shiny in your T-zone, maybe you go with the One Heck of a Blot in your T-zone. And if you have dryness in other places, maybe you go with the Milani one on the drier parts of your face. So don't be afraid to mix and match. But I hope this video was helpful. Give it a thumbs up if it was. If you want to see another video like this, let me know what product you want to see next in the comments below. I've already done this for foundation because I feel like base products are where you really need to classify it by skin type, but definitely let me know if there's another product category you want to see. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.